London Irish welcomed Gloucester Rugby to the Medacy Stadium for a battle to put daylight between themselves and the foot of the Aviva Premiership table. London Irish started fast with the simplest of tries. A quick penalty allowing Topsy Ojo to feed Ian Humphreys, with a fly half putting Mulcrone in for the opening score. Humphreys made no mistake with the conversion. The gap was narrowed to 4 points on 7 minutes, when 12 Trees slotted his first penalty of the match. A second 12 Trees penalty after Blair Cohen was penalised for not releasing, reduced Irish's lead to 7-6 at the 20-minute mark. 12 Trees' quick thinking put Gloucester ahead. When he spotted the ball at the back of the ruck, they quickly supplied May to charge over the try line. The 25-year-old converted to put the Cherry and Whites 13-7 ahead, and their lead further when 12 Trees kicked a fourth successful penalty, maintaining his 100% record in the match. Yet just as the game appeared to be keeping away from them, London Irish hit back with Sheridan powering through a Mike Tingle tackle for his first Aviva Premiership try. They were within 7 points and 19-12. Burns produced a fine kick to pin Irish back. When they were penalised soon after, Fly half slotted his first 3 points of the match. Irish came again, with Sheridan using his power once more to cross for a second time with 9 minutes to go. And Geraghty converted to close the gap to 22-19. Geraghty was handed the chance to level the score with just 4 minutes to go, but his kick was wide, and Irish's hopes of earning more than a losing bonus point went with it.
Was he inside there?
Final score, London Irish 19, Gloucester Rugby 22.
Big Game 6 was always going to be targeted by Conor O'Shea as a match to get his side back on track after the loss at Bath in round 10. Conversely, Rob Baxter journeyed to Twickenham with confidence after the home win against Newcastle, with the winner of this game moving into the playoff places. The visitors made a positive start to the game, but as soon as Quins got hold of the ball, they scored. Nick Evans, the man to take advantage of the overlap once the hosts had stolen the ball deep in the Exeter 22. And the Kiwi fly half adding the extras to the delight of 70,000 plus home fans. But the Chiefs steadied the ship, and with their first real spell in Quins territory, Matt Hopper upended Jason Schumacher illegally. And the centre could even have gone to the bin, but JP Doyle was happy with the penalty, which Gareth Steenson duly knocked over to narrow the score to 7-3 after 7 minutes. The hosts wasted a couple of good chances and Evans missed a penalty, but there is no doubt about the second Quins try. Brilliant interplay between the forwards, creating space behind the Chiefs, and when the ball is swept out wide, Charlie Walker took advantage of the advancing Jack Knoll to step inside Tom Johnson and let his pace do the rest. The score stayed 12-3 after Evans missed the conversion, but Knoll was sin-binned for the tip tackle, and the visitors had to play out the half with 14 men. And they almost survived, except for a decisive Danny Kerr break right on half-time. Hooker Dave Ward with the steal, and the England scrum half was able to feed Mike Brown to score try number 3 and put Quins in the driving seat, leading 19-3. With Knoll back after the break, the visitors struck first. Steenson with the second penalty to make it 19-6 and go number 2 on the Chiefs' all-time point scoring list. Both sides threw the ball about, but neither side was able to make the breakthrough as both defences stood firm. And after kicking for touch initially, Quins opted for the points on 62 minutes as Evans extended the lead to 22-6. And that's the way it stayed. The Chiefs, with some late pressure, saw Henry Slade just missing a link-up with Luke Arscott, while Johnson was stopped just short by some great work by Nick Easter. And so just a 3-all second half means no bonus point for either side. O'Shea perhaps ruining a wasted opportunity after a 3-try first half, while Rob Baxter may wonder about what might have been if Knoll hadn't sprinted off his line. Final score at Twickenham, Harlequins 22, Exeter Chiefs 6.
Aviva Premiership champions Leicester hosted Sale Sharks at Welford Road. The Tigers started the day in 7th place after last week's thrashing at leaders Saracens. Star of the show was the Tigers' young Welsh fly half Owen Williams. With only 4 minutes on the clock, Williams popped up to provide the try-scoring pass for lock Ed Slater. Williams converted and then kicked a penalty to put Tigers into a 10-0 lead. It was Williams again at the heart of the action. The 21-year-old found himself on the receiving end of a scuffle with Sale centre Sami Tuatopu. Referee Matt Carley consulted the TMO and sent Tuatopu to the tin bin. The TMO was involved again 2 minutes later, this time awarding a try to Leicester winger Adam Tomstone, who scored from a long miss pass by Bowden. Williams kicked a superb conversion from the left touchline to make the score 17-0, which became 17-3 when Sale fly-half Nick McLeod slotted an easy penalty. Williams made it 23 in the 35th minute with an easy penalty of his own. Sale finally managed to exert some pressure with a few minutes left of the half. McLeod kicked a penalty from the left touchline deep into overtime, meaning Sharks finished 26 down at the break. Williams stretched Leicester's lead 4 minutes after the interval with a penalty from in front of the posts. And after fullback Rob Miller had missed a long-range penalty of his own, Cueto scored an impressive try for Sale after scrum half Dwayne Peel had sparked the attack with a clever switch of direction. McLeod kicked the conversion from the right touchline to give hope to Sale, who withstood some fierce pressure from the Tigers just before the hour mark. And they got their reward for that stout defence when winger Charlie Ingle finished off a great move started by flanker James Gaskell, who split the Tigers' defence wide open with a blistering break. McLeod again kicked the conversion from the right touchline to put Sale within 3 points of their hosts. But the forwards put the Tigers back in control when they earned a penalty try from a sixth successive scrum on the Sale line. Williams converted, but replacement Joe Ford kicked a long-range penalty for Sale 3 minutes later to snatch the Sharks a losing bonus point. Final score, Leicester Tigers 30, Sale Sharks 23.
A year that Worcester fans will be keen to forget ended exactly as they would have feared. That only tells half the story, but one half was enough for the Aviva Premiership's current dominant force. Saracens actually trailed to Ignacio Mieres' early penalty, but once David Strettle had finished a break from halfway, the visitors found a 20-minute groove that settled this particular foregone conclusion. Worcester's poor kicking from defence played its part, but the momentum generated by fullback Alex Good created a hole for hooker Schalk Brits to charge through, and Sarries were heading for their first league win at Six Ways since 2007, surely the day's most surprising statistic. They were far from finished though, and an agreeable pattern of a try every 8 minutes was continued by Good himself after centre Tim Strether carved through the resistance of his hometown club, the fullback brushing off tackles that suggested Worcester had already accepted their fate, which soon worsened a mere 4 minutes later this time, thanks to a touch of class much stronger defences would have struggled with. Charlie Hodgson leaving everyone else wrong-footed, and with that Saracens had the try bonus with more than 50 minutes left to play. But then an unexpected turn as the Warriors scored a try of their own, shortly after Saracens had Mako Vunapola sin-binned. That meant Worcester trailed by 8 points to 26 at half-time, and 40 minutes later they still did. Saracens clearly decided their work for 2013 was done, and the home side played with real spirit. It's easy to see why Sarries have won 10 league games out of 11 this season, but it's rather harder to fathom why the Warriors haven't won since the 1st of March.
The big match of round 11 was at Franklin's Gardens as Northampton Saints hosted Bath Rugby. With Bath keen to add to their 11 straight wins in all competitions, they'll have been pleased with a start that saw George Ford slot 2 penalties to go with this superb try from Kyle Eastman, made by the break from Anthony Watson. But a yellow card for Paul James gave Saints the chance to capitalise. Christian Day crashing over in the corner for their first try after Saints rolling more from the line out. Saints had to come from behind in this fixture a year ago, and they did so again when George Peacey went over for their second try. Stephen Myler adding the conversion to put them ahead by a point. Once their noses were in front, the home side looked dominant, and try number 3 came when Peacey turned provider for winger Jamie Elliott, who looped around to score in the same fixture he took a brace from last season. The second half was only 3 minutes old when Saints took the try bonus point. Christian Day grabbing his second of the afternoon as he used his low body position to drive over for the score. Bath closed the gap to 10 points when Rob Webber went in for their second, but it was only 3 minutes later before Samu Manoa combined well with Elliott to claim his 5th try of the season. Where Saints have the loose running forwards, Bath did show their power up front. Replacement Leroy Houston bringing Bath back into it once more, the conversion closing the gap to 8 points. A penalty by Myler with 5 minutes to go led Bath to go in desperate search of the losing bonus point. But their carelessness allowed a smash and grab try from George North and the game was up. A great game finishing with a final score of Northampton Saints 43, Bath Rugby 25.
Despite their 3 wins in the Aviva Premiership, Newcastle Falcons have gone 335 minutes without a try in the league. And with a powerful London Wasps visiting Kingston Park on an extremely wet and windy night, it was difficult to see where that elusive try might come from. The Falcons started confidently in the blustery conditions, but as usual failed to make inroads out wide, as Wasps opened the game scoring on 12 minutes. Twice Joe Launchbury charged down Chris Pilgrim, and the second time visiting number 8 Sam Jones was on hand to pick up and touch down as the ball rebounded off a post. Andy Goode had no problems with the extras to make it 7-0, but he did struggle with his next place kick, slipping over and slicing the attempt wide. 15 minutes later though, he made amends after Ali Hogg was penalised to make it 10-0 after 35 minutes. Phil Godman should have narrowed the lead to 7 just on half-time when Carlo Festuccio was pinged, but the Scottish standoff pulled the effort wide, much to the frustration of Dean Richards. More of the same in the second half as the weather and defences cancelled the chances of scoring. Wasps did finally break the second half deadlock on 53 minutes. A good catch and drive from a Festuccio line-out, isolating the Falcons defenders, and the impressive Ashley Johnson was able to touch down, almost unmolested. Goode added the extras to make it 17-0, but then the try that Kingston Park were waiting for. A lovely pick-up by Godman and delayed pass to feed Alex Tate, who offloaded to Noah Cato to score the first Newcastle try in more than 6 hours. Godman missed the extras and the losing bonus point was still a long way off. Surely the pitch, the overhead conditions, and Wasps weren't going to let the hosts back into the game. And so it proved with 80 minutes on the watch. But then home skipper Will Welch managed to burrow over the line after countless infringements by the visitors to give Richards and the Falcons a losing bonus point. Dar Young will be happy with the away win, while Newcastle still seems safe, while Worcester continue to lose. Final score at Kingston Park, Newcastle Falcons 12, London Wasps 17.